Thanks everybody for coming to the MFTF 2.4.2 demo. I'm only going to be demoing two of the big features of this patch note. Thanks, John. It's of course a patch note, so there's not like a whole lot of functionality difference, but it's mostly cosmetic stuff, but cosmetic stuff that people really care about, right? So let's just go ahead and dive right on in. So under traceability, the first enhancement that we have is that step keys are added to the test output, right? So this has been asked for a really long time. We finally found a good way to solve this problem and a good way to format it in such a way that it looks nice on the console output as well as the Allure report. So as you can see, those are two little samples of it. I'll run a test and then show you guys just a live example of it right now. But you can see the formatting is step key in braces, and then the humanized output from codeception, and then the arguments passed in. So nothing new or nothing earth-shattering there. But let's just go ahead and do bin MFTF run test admin login test. So this is the canonical test, the first one, the alpha, but not the omega. If my computer decides to run it. There we go.
It's already on vacation.
Yeah, it is. Nah, for me, it's a PHP storm has been giving me a lot of grief. Oh, I forgot to build a project. Whoops. That'll do it. Yeah. As usual, I'm demoing this with a standalone MFTF pull, and I have it linked to my C directory via Magento BP. Really useful for if you're trying to do development for MFTF. It's the best way essentially to be detached from the code base essentially. Sweet. Let's just go ahead and see the test. Nothing too crazy. Everything that's expected. Sweet, and let's just take a look at it. So here's all of the CLI output as the slide showed. The action groups are the bottom level, or if it's just a normal action, it'll just be the normal action. But if it's like step key and then the name of the action group, you can probably surmise that the indented portion of it is all the actions inside that action group, right? So we see that in the login as admin portion as well as the log out from admin portion. And then the cadmin login URL is not inside any action group, so it's still at the bottom level. That's a really cool change. Let's generate the Allure report now real quick. Just by doing Allure serve. Copy the path. I don't know why that's there. There we go. Cool. So the one suite that we have, the one test that we have, and then here we go, collapsible action groups, and then step keys prepended to every action. So this should be the final piece of the puzzle as to how to pretty easily debug tests and try to figure out why this specific step failed. You're going to be able to pinpoint exactly to which action group or what action that it's actually tied to. So that's pretty cool and exciting stuff. I'll go ahead and kill the server and then move on to the next feature and final feature that we have that is demoable. XML comments now output corresponding comment action. So as so some of you might have seen this in the CE code base. Every once in a while there's some context setters, like right here I need to provide some context to the below block, and then some actions. That's obviously useful for test writers and test maintenance, just so you can have a very big high-level view of what the test is trying to do in case that the action groups or whatever other abstraction methods that have been trying to be used didn't actually do a good job of it. At the end of the day, comment blocks will always help provide context. And we had these comment blocks, and then a lot of the times they were instantly followed by a comment action with the exact same output, such that it would actually show up in the Allure report, right? So the natural conclusion of that is just turn these into a comment action. So here's an example right here, just a comment block XML, need to provide some context to the below block, and then the generated PHP. You can see that this comment action now has a an analog in the actual generated PHP. And I can show you guys that by, well, if I try to run this test, it's going to fail horribly. No, let's just go and do it. Let's do bin MFTF run test dev docs test right here. So you guys will see that the before any of the test steps run, it'll comment this out in the log. You go to this MFTF doc page URL, and I'm pretty sure it'll crash as a direct result of it. But that's okay. You guys will get to see what a failed test looks like.
I'm not mistaken, I fixed it.
Did you? You might have.
No.
That's okay. That's fine. For the purposes of this, the thing that actually matters is right here, this comment page. Notice that there's no step key before it because you can't have a step key because you can't dictate a step key in here, which is okay. At the end of the day, what it'll look like is it'll just be an iComment action. So if you see an action that doesn't have a step key on it and it just says some context setting like this, like open dev docs page right here, you can just search the test for that. There's no data replacement or anything going on in there, I don't think. Maybe that is possible, but it shouldn't be possible. But yeah, if you ever see an action that doesn't have the step key, it's probably a comment from a test. But cool. Those are the two big features of this release. This release was really prompted by some other dependency issues that MFTF was having with an upcoming Magento release due to
two-factor authorization.
Yes, 2FA extension. So that's the reason what prompted us to actually get a release out the door, but we managed to get these two features in, which is always good. But cool. That's going to be it from me. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. Lucas, if you want to share your screen and show off the stuff that you brought, that'd be really cool.
Okay, just give me a second, and I'm preparing my screen to share. 1 second.
No problem. We'll save any questions anybody has over pretty much anything that was demonstrated probably for the very end. I want to make sure that Lucas had time to show stuff off because it's cool.
Okay, I think I can show my screen. 1 second. Application window is something I want to show you, or maybe entire screen. Okay, it's better if I show you just one window. Okay, I will start with PHP Storm, as it's kind of important for the beginning because I prepared the wrapper for between MFTF and MailHog to verify the email, how emails are delivered from MFTF, and let me just find this presentation mode. Wait seconds. Come on. Do you remember where the presentation mode is?
It should be under view, maybe third to last option.
No, there's not. Oh, wow. Okay, so
don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay, it's moved to appearance. Okay, so I'm switching to presentation mode, and the first thing is related with configuration. So I will show you the configuration. I added just extra environmental variable, which is MailHog base URL, and based on that, I just prepared the page, which is which defines the MailHog inbox, and it has two sections. One section is related with inbox grids, lists of all emails, and the message section, which is focused on showing just one email preview, and the sections contains of the. Do you see clearly my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see very well.
Okay. Because it's blinking on my screen, so that's why I'm asking. Okay, but as you see, it contains of inbox container, which is kind of measurement for me that the inbox was loaded properly. And message row, which is definition of single message. and two selectors to get the messages by the index of the row and the subject and the row. Another part is another section is a message section that you can just get the sender, recipient, subject, and content of the email. And that's all for the beginning. I will show you a second screen because it's important now to what happens in Chrome. Okay, so we can see that after registration of customer, I have email from Magento, but I want to have two of them. So 1 second. I will create another customer which will sign up for newsletter. Okay, and now we have 3 emails. 2 of them are welcome to main website store, and 1 is newsletter subscription. So that's how the MailHog looks like after having these registrations. And for me, it's important to have possibility to verify if all the placeholders were replaced properly, if all that information I want to have there is fine. So once again, I will switch my screen to PHP Storm. That's the last time. Okay, and yeah, give me a second to show the services. Okay. And I prepared just 2 tests only for testing the sections and the action groups. So one of the tests was for testing if inbox is empty after running MailHog. It's important when you want to make sure that that you start up with a clean situation. So it contains of opening inbox action group and asserting that there are no messages in group. And we can see that we failed because we have already emails in our inbox. So that is perfectly fine. And the open inbox action group just opens the URL of inbox page, waits for its for be loaded, and checks if the inbox container I showed you before is on the page. So that's pretty easy. And another thing, yeah, so let's go for second test. Second test is also draft only to test if all the actions group work properly. Okay, I will run it. I forgot to show you the second screen to show you the outcome of clicking through, but yeah, it goes through testing if with action groups with it's opening in inbox. It's opening first message with which contains in subject welcome to. So one of these 2 I showed you before. After registration, it opens the latest one, and just for recording, I added wait to record how it performs, and then it asserts if after opening this message, the subject is correct, the recipient is correct, and sender is correct, like we expected. So we can provide different values there. And when you are developing your own feature, you can just create your action groups to verify the contents if, let's say, logo is displayed properly and other stuff. Yeah, and we failed that test because I registered customer with random email, so it should be yeah, it should be different mail, and we can rerun this test. I could remove this whites, but okay, and we passed the test, so the email was delivered as we expected. So that's a little module that you can install with Composer, and I want to perform other, let's say, wrappers for the local mail tests services, like Mailinator or something else, to make it, let's say, MailHog agnostic, to just let people use different solutions with it. So the syntax would be the same, but you will have to just install different Composer package to test your emails.
That's great.
Cool.
Thank you. Can I have one comment on your sections? Can you open inbox grid section?
Open inbox action group. Yep.
Section. Inbox grid section.
Yeah.
It's taking a while for the video to update for us. Okay, there we go.
Can I ask you to add here one more selector, which will pick a row based on recipient address?
Sure.
Because I don't like seeing any indexes in our selectors, and the best way, from what I saw just a few moments ago on that page, you have there a recipient email address. You can build a selector which will select the latest email for specified recipient. That would be very cool. And you can also add a selector recipient and index if you need a concrete message. Like for example, you have 3 messages and you want to check the second message for a dedicated recipient. Because when we run our test and CI/CD systems, we will have millions of those messages for different customers, and we generate.
So I would say that there should be one more selector, which will be a handler for remove all button, because it's also there. So after finishing test, we can just clean the inbox.
That's also a good idea.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm happy to share that, and I will develop that to the point that maybe sooner or later we will be able to just use that also in core some way.
Oh, for sure.
That's actually a good idea. When we send this message internally, several of our guys were interested to use it already.
Yeah.
So you got jackpot here.
Awesome. Well, Lucas, thank you very much for that. That's very cool. Just the last 7 minutes here, if anybody has any questions about any of the things that were demoed, whether or not it was the 2.4.2 release stuff or if it was the MailHog module that Lucas demoed, by all means, feel free to hop in and ask a question.
Yeah, this is Mike. I had a question.
Hey, what's up?
I was just wondering if you expect the log files in the Jenkins server to increase with any of the changes that you've made in this release. I saw there's some additional commenting. I wasn't sure if we expect that to increase significantly at all.
That's actually a really good question. That's not something I don't think we tested for. It's a couple, like the step keys aren't that long, so we're not talking about that many more characters in it. But also specifically the Jenkins logs, I don't think that they have that individual step execution. I think the way that we run it in Jenkins, it's via code step statements. Therefore, we're not going to see the individual test output like you see here. Let me just share my screen. That's a good question though. We will. Fair enough. Oh, that's also something worth mentioning. We haven't cut this release yet. We're still in the middle of doing the final testing and all of it, and that's certainly something we can take a look at and just double check. I was just positing that I'm not 100% sure if we're going to see this like these individual am on page statements and C statements on every single test in Jenkins. Maybe we will. Maybe my memory's faulty, but we're going to be running builds with this, I think, later today. I can take a look at the logs and then double check to see that they haven't ballooned in size.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
No, no, thank you. That's actually a really good question. I hadn't considered that at all.
At least in the console output, you don't see these step keys printed, right? Jenkins.
In Jenkins, I don't know. My memory says no, but I'm not 100% sure. We got a question from my fellow Eastern European man. Could you help me out with that name?
Christoph Daniel.
That's just Christoph?
Sorry, I'm not sure. Sorry if I spelled that incorrectly.
It's better than
It is. Sorry for my side question, but the quality of your video is awesome. So I wanted to know what hardware you are using to show your. That's
a fair question. It looks like some Cisco model that Adobe bought for pretty much all of them. I have absolutely no idea, to be honest. They're really nice cameras, though.
This is kind of how it's called, telepresence or device or something like that, or.
Yeah. It's like one of those teleconference things that like it sits on top of the TV and there's a camera in the middle and it also does the audio as far as I can tell. It looks like a little soundbar thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
You have to say something so it zooms.
Hey.
All right.
Hey.
Oh, excellent. All right. Can you type in the model name for me? I would love to buy one.
Sounds good, man. We'll figure it out and send it to you. Are you in the MFTF community Slack, I assume?
Yes.
Sounds good. We'll find it for you, bud.
Cisco should pay us money for it.
Exactly. It's too funny. Cool. Any other questions? 3 minutes left. Sounds good then. Thanks everybody again for coming. Hope to see you guys soon. We're going to be cutting the release probably either later today or early tomorrow, and we're going to be trying to deliver it to mainline probably after next week, since there's no dying hurry or anything like that. But cool. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.